iYellow, that's the name of the company. iYellow. If you want to say hello.
iYellow, hola.
Thank you.
Here in South America, you have an opportunity to grow. You have a better opportunity to catch up and have faster growth than North America because they've already got certain things. The technologies already exist. You can grow faster than North America. And you can do this because money is information. And with Bitcoin, the way I envisioned it, it enables you to have information. Let's, for a minute, assume that you're a poor fisherman in the north on the coast up there. You come back with a harvest. Basically, you've gone out there, you've been fishing, you have lots of different types of fish, you have different shellfish, crustaceans. You want to sell them at the best market for the best price. You can do that now with Bitcoin. This is what peer information means. Rather than having a centralized marketplace, a middleman to sell your goods, you can now use information to search where you can sell. That small fisherman with a small load of fish can look, in a few years' time, we'll have them being able to look on an app to see where the best market is. They will be able to then judge the cost of taking their ship to either side, different parts of the coast, to work out the fuel cost, to work out how much they'll get paid, and know where to get to. To know that if they get to Port A or Port B, they will get different amounts of money. It may not be huge differences, but even 5–10% makes a lot of difference. If you're a poor farmer and you have a crop, you will be able to sell it, not doing shitcoin tokens, but by tokenizing your future crops so that you can sell them in advance, knowing that if there's bad weather, you will be covered. Knowing that you will be able to have premium crops covered. This happens now in America, in the USA. Farmers up there are large enough that they can sell hedging instruments that allow them to protect themselves so that no matter what happens with the weather, they're safe. But it's too small for small farmers here right now. Small farmers in Colombia cannot sell their product ahead of time effectively unless they get ripped off. We want to see a South America where people can sell everything they have for as much as they can so that their families can get education, so that their children can live better. I want to see that extra few percent so that people know where to go to get a little bit more, so that they can build wealth. Not another ICO that does nothing, but to be able to sell their crops in a tokenized market. So that cocoa farmers, even the small ones, can come out around South American crops and sell to large American companies, large British companies, large Asian companies, ahead of time, knowing that they have to meet certain quality standards because it'll be in a contract they have to meet, and knowing what they need to do, knowing what they can do to help, so that they can go out there on real exchanges and sell their produce. And that will be the token. The token will be a future sale. That's what futures work. And in American markets, in places like Chicago, big American sales happen for grain. And that allows the American market to have an edge that the South American market doesn't. We want to change that. We want to bring every small producer the opportunity to have a peer interaction, to allow other people to invest in your crop. We want people to invest in your future harvest. We want people to invest as you're bringing in a lot of fish. Different restaurants can bid for them, and you can get them there as quickly as possible. We want a peer market so that not a big Uber, but individuals can go out there, not paying 50% of what they earn to Uber, but themselves, here in this country, can know, I can go to the coast, I can pick up these fish, I can deliver them to this restaurant, and I will earn money, not some big American company. That's the difference in my vision. That's what peer means. It doesn't mean everyone runs a node, because miners will compete to do that. That's what competition is. They will build a system that gets closer and closer to the minimal level of profit that allows them to operate. That's what happens with specialization. You don't want to be a miner unless you have a lot of money to invest. Because, like airlines, the profit margin in the future on these multi-billion-dollar industries will be minuscule. You want to live your own life and have your own kids and your own family. Build a future. One where you can pay for information straight away. One where you don't need to be afraid of corruption. One where you can be safe. Because if you're not safe, and if you have to put up with corruption, you're not free. Forget all these stories about freedom way up your own node. You're free because you're safe. You're free because your family's safe. You're free because you know that you're going to be okay tomorrow. I want to see apps where if you lose your phone, the last location or a picture can be taken and put on the blockchain. I want to see the serial number of all your electronic devices put on the blockchain. I want to see your property put on the blockchain. I want to see your car, the VIN number, put on the blockchain. I want a system so that neighborhood watchers can post information about crime immutably on the blockchain. I want people to be able to report corrupt officials on the blockchain. Because I want a world that will be free. Not for a bloody node, but because we can trust our future. Imagine if every one of you sees something wrong and you can report it. And no corrupt government can stop you. Imagine a world where you can post synonymously a picture of someone taking a bribe, and it can go as immutable evidence into a court, and that person can be prosecuted. Think what happens to corrupt societies when everyone sees what happens. It's a world of sunshine. Sunshine is the best disinfectant. It cleans up all the corruption. When we have people able to start their own business, people able to protect their own property, other people able to help, engage in protecting each other, we become better. It's not about a drug culture. It's not about a world that goes into selling anything, no matter what. It's a world where all of us can help all of us be better. That's what peer means. If you see something wrong, and you can pseudonymously report that, you help someone. If you see someone being mugged on a street and you can report it without getting in trouble yourself, you're better off. If you see a corrupt official and you can report him, you're better off. In a world where we can put out what I want to purchase and anyone can bid, everyone has a chance. It becomes a meritocracy. The best wins. If you can promise to deliver a certain type of crayfish to a certain restaurant at a certain time, and you can arrange a contract to do that, you win. Not because a large company has taken your product, but because you have engaged in trade. This is what decentralization is. It's not everyone running a node. It's us, the people. In the Federalist Papers, Hamilton and Madison start a lot of things with a very simple phrase. We, the people. We, the people of this world, want freedom. We, the people of this world, want to trade. We, the people of this world, don't want to be oppressed. We want to have privacy. We, the people, want to be able to know that our children will be safe, that they won't be preyed on by drug dealers, that they won't be sold into people smuggling groups, and they won't be basically taken out of where they're meant to be. And this happens right now. This is a big thing that I used to work against years ago. A lot of people who want to work hard come from different places in South America right now and get lost. They get sold into sex slavery if they're young and pretty. They get sold basically working at zero wages in restaurants and cleaning and whatever else in America today. If these people had a way of immediately alerting their location that something's happened, that other people could basically say, I found this person, that makes us freer. If people know, because they have a contract before they go off and work, that can provably show what they're doing, we're freer. If our sons and our daughters can go overseas, we're freer. If they come back because we know they're safe, we're freer. Not because we can have a drug market. We're not free because we sell drugs or pipe bombs or explosives or guns. That's not freedom. Freedom is safety. Freedom is privacy. Don't listen to the lies of the anarchists, because anarchy is about control. It's always about control. In the Communist Manifesto, they have two things. One, law. You work within the system to change it so that you erode everything. Two, anarchy. Bring down the system and take control. We don't want that. I don't want that. I'm sure you don't want that. I want to see a South America that is free. For too long, this continent has been oppressed. Hundreds of years, people have oppressed people here. They have used lies, they have used slavery, and it's time for all of us to say it ends. It's time for us to allow the smallholder to have a future. It's time for us to educate each other. It's time for us, all of us, not to want to be the same, but to be a society where we accept people, no matter how different they are, where we don't shout them down as trolls, because we can now put a cost on doing that, but we allow people to communicate and talk. No matter how bad their ideas might seem. They have a right to say them. Because if we don't show what people are saying, if we don't do that, we're not going to be free. So what I want to see from everyone is very simple. I want people to start interacting, not because of Ubers. If you can develop an app that you think will be cool, that you think will be profitable, if you think will help people, do it. That's why we're having hackathons. That's why we're doing things. I don't want to see crypto kitties. I don't want to see useless things that are designed to make a quick buck. I want people to make something of value that creates wealth. Because wealth means that all of us get better off. It doesn't mean that we have a zero-sum exchange game where we win because we've crushed someone else. And that's what we're seeing in ICOs right now. I get money because I've outbid this guy. I don't want that. I don't know about you. I don't want to get rich by making other people poor. I want to see a world where I'm proud to see my kids live in. I want a world where we all trade, where we all engage, where we help one another. This is what we're going to bring you with Bitcoin. This is my vision of freedom. It's one that will corrupt nothing except corruption. We're going to get rid of corrupt governments. We're going to let everyone have a voice, no matter how poor, how isolated, how anything. Everyone has a voice. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't like my vision. As long as you argue it properly. Not by going and attacking, but by building something better. If you want to build something better and you want to compete with me, please do. I welcome it. If you can beat me, I'll be proud. Why? Because if you build a better system than I do, you've created a better world than I will. And I've succeeded anyway. Not because I have more money, because everyone's better. Everyone has a better chance. Everyone has a better future. So what I want people to start thinking about, and you don't need to be really technical to do this, think about ideas about how you can allow people to connect better. Think about ideas about how you can allow people to trade better. Every time you go down the street and you see someone in difficulty, think about if we did this type of act, we could make their life easier. Think about how we can incentivize people to help the elderly. Kids get maybe a little bit of money. And if we have an immutable evidence trail, then we're not going to have to worry about trust so much, because we can ensure that the people are protected, that evidence exists if anything goes wrong, which means it won't go wrong. If we can start protecting ourselves using technology, if we can show what's happening, then we can trust more. Imagine, there are kids out there who want to earn money. I used to do things like mowing lawns and silly things like this. And I had to run around streets and give out flyers, and it wasted half the time I could be earning. Imagine a little app for kids. Mow my lawn, I'll pay you this much SB. And the kid can go around and find out where the latest area to be mowed is, what lawn needs to be done, what tasks need to be done. That adds value. Instead of wasting our time running around getting nothing, That adds value.
Join us on the journey and path of Bitcoin SV. For everyone in this room, everyone in Bogotá, everyone in Colombia, across South America, we invite you to join us in the Bitcoin SV ecosystem as we journey to that future.
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes.
Sure.
Mi nombre es Daniel Gómez y tengo una pregunta que nos impacienta, creo que a más de uno. Estamos en el medio. ¿Qué consejo nos das para poder confrontar las partes del gobierno? O sea, hemos visto el gobierno en contra de, por ejemplo, nosotros tenemos video, hemos visto cómo el gobierno y la parte bancaria se nos ha ido en contra, poniéndonos obstáculos. ¿Qué consejo nos darías para poderlos confrontar de una forma real y que ellos vean que esto no es una estafa ni nada de eso, sino es algo evolutivo que nos va a convenir a todos en el futuro?
Again, sunlight. We need people working together, showing the world what we can do. We need to be able to capture things that are bad. And let not just Colombia, but the world see. Every time someone takes a bribe, report it anonymously. Every time someone basically steals or does anything wrong, find a way of reporting it. This is what Bitcoin allows as well. It's also not just money. It allows messaging. It allows, people talking about Bitstagram. Well, it's nice that people are putting pictures of food and things like that. But what about if it's pictures of corruption? What about if you can get CNN to pay you money because you have pictures of someone being dragged around the street? And now it's immutable. No one can change it. No one can Photoshop it. Those things are actually going to help.
Let me address that also. The big thing we can do, which we, in my role as president of Bitcoin Association, along with Wright, do is not fight governments. We try to work with them. Governments and central banks have been afraid of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because the early people who got into supporting Bitcoin were crypto anarchists. They thought Bitcoin was designed as a system to get around the government, to get around banks. We don't think that. That's not why he created Bitcoin. It's a system that can improve governments and it can improve banks. But because of that, the early Bitcoin and cryptocurrency people, a lot of the projects you see, they want to support things like anonymous coins, which can breed crime. They don't like things such as what are called KYC, know your customer, or anti-money laundering, AML requirements. Which, for example, if you open a bank account, you have to give your ID and your address and proof of address. So banks know who's sending money to who, and they can track crime based on that. The cryptocurrency world, a lot of them don't want those requirements to apply to cryptocurrency, and that's why a lot of governments don't like cryptocurrency. They want to be able to do the same tracking of money and alert as to possible crimes that they do with regular money. So we are talking with and working with governments around the world to review and suggest legislation and to encourage responsible regulation to protect consumers, to prevent financial fraud. And we like to say, we are going to be adults in the cryptocurrency world. We don't want crazy crime in cryptocurrency. And the more we do that, and all of you in your local communities, the more governments will come to see Bitcoin, at least our vision of it, is not something to be afraid of.
One more question.
Maybe you heard the news when in BitMEX blog a couple of months ago, where the Bitcoin Cash blockchain went back a certain number of blocks to recover a certain number of Bitcoin that they have lost. So my question is, this is against immutable. So what do you think that could happen when this behavior presents? And can this happen with BSB blockchain?
Bitcoin is set in stone. When I said the protocol is set in stone in 2010, I meant it. If you change the protocol, you are not Bitcoin. If you call yourself Bitcoin, like BTC or BCH, and basically you've changed the protocol, you're committing fraud. You are defrauding people. You are letting them believe things that are not true. And people will fight to protect that fraud, because there's a lot of money involved. But we're going to do our utmost to ensure that that doesn't happen. But one thing I'll tell you, the protocol doesn't change in Bitcoin. Everything I'm developing, everything that my team's working on, will be the original Bitcoin. And that's important, because if I make a transaction now, I want it to be valid 30 years in the future. If you're talking about land registries, people don't sell their land every day. If the protocol changes and your transaction is no longer valid 50 years from now, when your kids inherit your property, then there's something wrong. To be immutable, to be Bitcoin, to be set in stone, means that your protocol doesn't change. It means that your transaction you make, and someone will tokenize land on Bitcoin soon enough, it means that that protocol transaction will be valid today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, 50 years from now.
What if someone posts on the BSB blockchain, for instance, child pornography? Can the miners deny the possibility to do this?
There's already child pornography on everything. Right now, every American listed company has a requirement for worm storage. That is, write once, read many. Every single one of them has databases full of child porn. It doesn't mean you can have access. There are ways and technologies. Part of how I created Bitcoin will allow miners to actually filter that out. If you're not having home user nodes, it doesn't matter. And here's the thing. It's an immutable evidence trail. The person loading that has been recorded. The person loading that has signed a transaction saying they committed a crime. We'll hand it over.
Okay, perfect. One more question over here.
Hi, Mr. Wright. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I want to know about the problem that most of blockchains have, that is privacy. Not privacy in the way of know your customer or AML, privacy in the way that the business want to take care about the customer's information. So I know about the Nakasendro module, and I want to know more about how this new module can help us in this.
Your identity is separate. So the part on that, like the privacy section of the white paper, is we firewall identity. Now, I've been working hard over the last 10 years, and we're starting to release things. Ryan and others have started building some of my technology. But what we enable is for you to separate identity and the transactions. Now, the problem is there should never, ever be a 1,000 Bitcoin address, let alone 100,000 Bitcoin address things and whatever else. The way Bitcoin works is you are meant to use an address once ever. If you have a payment and you have change, it should be sent to multiple addresses. People can track Bitcoin core because basically, they don't understand Bitcoin. They have this protect my address, PGP mentality, and they have totally not understood the first thing about Bitcoin. Chain analysis on everyone is really, really difficult because it's an NP hard problem. So the more addresses you have, the harder it is to track. So if you have no care about low-cost transactions because you have big blocks, you can have your change sent to 100 addresses every time. If you care about privacy, you can make it so difficult for anyone to track that it's not ever going to be funny. Okay? What else in big blocks?
Buena pregunta. Bueno, vamos. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Edwin Carrillo. Me gusta la visión que tiene. Yo tengo dos preguntas. La primera, ¿por qué aparecer Satoshi después de casi 10 años de creado el Bitcoin? Una, ¿por qué aparece hasta ahorita? O sea, ¿por qué no antes? Si antes todos los problemas se han venido representando desde el 2016 con el Bitcoin Core. Y la segunda es, ¿qué repercusiones tiene si se declara que usted es Satoshi Nakamoto en todo el mundo criptográfico?
I didn't come out. People like Mr. Maxwell and others worked to expose me in 2015 because I didn't want publicity. I disappeared in the end of 2010 because a number of people who were involved in the early days started building Silk Road and Hydra. They started selling child porn, they started selling drugs. And they didn't even sell light drugs. They didn't do a pot shop or something. The first thing they built was heroin. There is no good use for heroin in this bloody world. So I disappeared for a while because I needed to work on making something that would work. I needed to prove that I could do this right. And that's why I have patents and everything else. So I can stop things fragmenting, so I can stop people doing stupid things, and basically to build. I didn't come out very well in 2016. I tried. Some people realize, and not everyone does. I have autism, and I have what people commonly call Asperger's. I don't deal with people well. It's taken me years to be able to stand on a stage and do this. It scares me shitless. I come back because this is the earliest I've been able to. It's taken me years to get to this stage. It's taken people like Jimmy and Steve and everyone to get me to a stage where I can do this.
Audiencia en internet muy fuerte, así que quisiéramos permitirle a la audiencia hacer una pregunta a la audiencia que está en Facebook. Si tienen la pregunta ya, la hacemos. ¿Tenemos pregunta? Perfecto. Vamos con una pregunta de los medios.
Gracias. Tenemos una audiencia increíble en este momento en internet, en las redes sociales, YouTube, Facebook Live. Es el día que más audiencia tenemos, estamos muy contentos, esta excelente transmisión. Tenemos una pregunta, bueno, tenemos varias. Nos pregunta el señor Marino desde Medellín, ¿hacia dónde cree que nos va a llevar toda esta innovación en la criptomoneda en el futuro, en 5 años? Una proyección de 5 años.
I see two futures for us. I see one that is dystopian. I see one with big, sort of centralized organizations starting to control our lives, telling us that we're dumb and not important. And I see one that I hope for, where all of us work to create a society together. One where peer individuals with technology help create better businesses. Capitalism isn't what people tell you.
If you read part of Adam Smith, you get part of the answer. There's a more important book that no one reads. Adam Smith wrote a book on moral sentiments. Before he wrote about capitalism, he wrote what we need to have capitalism. And that is a strong society. People who work not to create crime, not to steal from one another, but to make our societies better, so that our kids will be proud of what we do. So basically, I see we're at a crossroads in this world and history. We can go down a dystopian path where we have technocrats becoming the new totalitarian lords. Or we the people, can take control of our own lives, and we can build a world.
Let me answer that also. I think, and I think we all agree on our camp, there are far too many cryptocurrency and blockchain projects. In the next 5 years, I expect the industry will consolidate down. The fake coins and things that don't really have value should not be here in 5 years. Satoshi Nakamoto, Craig, wrote very early in Bitcoin's history, there's only one global chain. We believe the future is a single global public blockchain, just like we operate on a single public internet. We'll operate on a single global public blockchain, and the only one that has the capacity to scale with the big blocks to do that is Bitcoin SV. Will that come true in 5 years? No, but I think we'll be well on the path to get there, and you'll see far fewer cryptocurrency projects unless they're built on Bitcoin SV.
One more question from our audience on Facebook.
Usuario de YouTube, usuario Mel, tiene una pregunta al señor Satoshi. ¿Por qué dejó limitados los Bitcoin? Pregunta por YouTube.
And I complement this question. Do you think that in the future this number of 21 million will be enough for the entire world? It's not 21 million. It's 21 million times a whole lot of zeros. It's an integer. It's 2.1 trillion. Now the thing is, money gets more and more when it has higher velocity. Right now, settlement times of money are weeks or months. Bitcoin makes that settlement and clearing in 10 minutes. It's more money than the world has ever understood could be possible when you look at it that way. When you understand the velocity and turnover, not because of Google, but because of use.
Excellent. Do we have time for one more question?
Bueno, ¿quién tiene una buena pregunta? ¿Tiene una buena pregunta? ¿Esté seguro? Levante la mano. ¿Tiene una buena pregunta? Vamos.
Buenas tardes, mucho gusto. Soy José Vicente Cardona y soy el creador de la Federación de Cannabis en Colombia. Craig, tuviste una mala experiencia con la parte de la heroína. Yo lidero un programa de cannabis en Colombia, cannabis medicinal, para la humanidad. Bitcoin y tu plataforma serían unos aliados para nosotros, para la federación, o contemplarías desarrollar un Bitcoin a partir del cannabis medicinal?
Está buena pregunta.
At the end of the day, there's a big difference between cannabis and heroin. There are many places where cannabis is legal. And if it's legal, I have no problems. Unfortunately, there's a real problem right now. There are legal industries that can't get banking, that can't get visa, that can't get payments. That's wrong. We have to fix it. Excellent. One more question over here.
Craig, estamos muy contentos y muy complacidos de tu presencia acá. He trabajado por años en el tema en el tema de las redes de distribución. Muchas de estas personas que han venido acá han estado, digamos, vinculadas a diferentes proyectos alrededor de esto. Durante mucho tiempo nosotros variamos las estructuras para poder crear procesos de crecimiento organizacional y logramos generar momentum. Nosotros creemos que de cierto modo el momentum puede ser asociado a la especulación, pero también creemos que si este proyecto, si este proceso no se hace rápidamente, podría llegar a tener digamos, algunas restricciones, sobre todo porque la contraparte gubernamental y las demás y las empresas pudiéramos llegar a tener, digamos, dificultades de no tener esa curva de ascenso de adopción, que es, digamos, el punto al cual estamos nosotros pensando. Entonces, queremos, digamos, tener tu punto de vista con respecto a cómo nosotros, al haber desarrollado, digamos, profesionalmente redes de distribución y al haber entendido, digamos, lo que es el efecto momentum del doctor Wright, francés, ¿cómo tú, digamos, podrías orientarnos a esto para que no sea un proceso especulativo, sino de...
Organization after organization building on Bitcoin. We're going to keep having hackathons. I'm going to put out ideas and concepts and business plans to allow people globally to start building businesses. I'm not going to charge for them. I'm going to give them away so that other people can take what I've invented and make value.
¿Alguna pregunta buena? Quiero una buena pregunta.
Personas conectadas en este momento con un alcance de 7.800 personas en diferentes partes del mundo en Facebook y en YouTube en este momento. Juan Martín, Julieta, Edgar, Lilia, saludamos que nos envían saludos, Oscar Mario, Jario, Juan Camilo Rojas, toda la audiencia de internet.
Perfecto, vamos con esta pregunta.
Buenas tardes, tengo esta pregunta. De volver al génesis del Bitcoin y qué pasará con el Bitcoin original y más ahora que está próximo a finalizar la minería pues a los 22 millones de bitcoins para minar.
The original Bitcoin's still here. It's called BSV, Bitcoin SV. Remember I said Bitcoin is set in stone. So that other one isn't the original. If you change something, it's not the original. So I'm still working on the original Bitcoin. We're still scaling the original Bitcoin, and I'm still building on the original Bitcoin. The other ones, not my problem.
Okay. Una buena. ¿Cuál señora dice que una buena? Tú, tienes una buena pregunta, vamos. Tu nombre y la pregunta.
Bueno, quiero saludar a Santos que para mí en ese momento es cumplir un sueño en el cual pues yo le doy gracias a Dios que yo quería un dinero digital como el Bitcoin que en estos momentos se está dando. Y le doy gracias primeramente a Giovanni Vargas, que es el hermano de Oscar Vargas, que fueron los primeros que trajeron pues el Bitcoin aquí a Colombia y que nos enseñaron. Y desde ahí, créanme que yo padezco de cáncer, de otras enfermedades prácticamente terminales y que se me ha dificultado trabajar, pero con el Bitcoin he podido comercializar y he podido, en cierto punto, salir adelante. He creado un grupo de solo personas que sepan manejar Bitcoin y de otras que quieran aprender Bitcoin. Y sí me gustaría que todos tomáramos conciencia porque en estos momentos no se puede crear empresa aquí en Colombia. Es muchas las barreras que hay Yo tengo muchos proyectos y no voy a sacar ninguno adelante, pero estoy confiada que con Bitcoin voy a poder sacar esos proyectos adelante y dejar un legado a través del Bitcoin, no solamente aquí en Bogotá, sino también en mi departamento, que es el Cauca, que ha sido muy azotado por la guerra, que nos han matado, nos han acribillado, nos han desplazado. Somos víctimas en condición de desplazamiento forzado. El gobierno dice, no, es que todos somos víctimas porque todos nos roban, que todos nos quitan un celular. No, señores, eso no es ser víctima. Y les quiero decir una cosa, nunca en la vida vuelvan a pensar, ni se les pase por el pensamiento que son víctimas, porque ustedes no saben lo terrible que es ser víctima en condición de desplazamiento forzado, donde a uno lo persiguen, lo matan, lo acribillan y le toca salirnos sin nada a una ciudad donde uno no conoce a nadie. Y el Bitcoin, en estos momentos, en mi departamento, porque tengo por mí una organización, precisamente para poder articular a la gente y poderles enseñar el Bitcoin. Y para eso creé el grupo. Sí me gustaría saber, señor Satoshi Nakamoto, cómo podemos articular el campo, como usted dice, para que la gente pueda tener sus fincas, pueda sacar sus proyectos adelante, porque en estos momentos no se puede. Y el Bitcoin es una herramienta fundamental para poder comercializar, para poder exportar, para poder negociar a nivel mundial. Sí nos gustaría que nos ayudara con una escuela básica, porque uno muchas veces no sabe ni siquiera manejar el celular y para ellos es muy difícil. Sí nos gustaría enseñar a Satoshi Nakamoto que tomara esas riendas en el campo y nos ayudara, y principalmente a mí, porque quiero dejar un legado, no sé cuánto tiempo dure.
Let us help you. I have technology that will do this already. The 1,000 or so papers I've been writing to go to patents, and all the things we've been building will enable this. Help us help you. Help us get the technology to your governments so that they know they can have low-cost businesses without all the paperwork. Help us get the contacts. Help us work together. Not so that we can grab money from you. That's not the sort of thing we're charging for. So that we can get you basically solutions to give your government so that you can create and they will accept. I have it. I have the technology to do that. I want everyone here to take it, to build on it, to sell it to your government. Because this is where the power in people comes from. When you all work together to build a better world, we'll have a better world.
Vete al stand porque llegó un
I'll give you the technology to do that.
We also want to be honest about the fact it's going to take time to build some of these applications and tools. We just fought to preserve Bitcoin's original vision last year. It's only been about 7 months since Bitcoin SV has reclaimed the original Bitcoin path. Our company, Enchain, and our partners, and companies like Wright, and many others across the world have seen the power of Bitcoin finally truly unlocked. They're starting to build. My sense is it will probably take a few years before a lot of these great new applications and tools to do some of these things are fully available. I'm already starting to see many projects coming. I think by the end of the year you'll start seeing them. We get approached a lot for investment or with partners, so I get to see a lot of the new projects coming. But it'll take a few years. I don't want to, I want to be very optimistic, but realistically it will take a few years, but we and many people across the world work hard on this.
Gracias por esa respuesta. Quisiera una pregunta más. Quisiera que fueran específicos en la pregunta y que fuera una buena pregunta. ¿Tiene una buena pregunta? Usted, una buena pregunta.
Comunicación asertiva, ¿cómo
Bueno,
uno
buenas tardes
comunica
para todos, mucho gusto.
con
Mi nombre es
el
Loaiza,
grupo?
soy CEO y
Grupo de desarrolladores.
líder en Colombia de un equipo que se llama GMCoin.
Ahorita le cuento.
Nosotros estamos desarrollando un token para los emprendedores de nuestro país, para los emprendedores que quieran desarrollar sus proyectos para que nadie se los robe, y donde no queremos contaminarnos con ningún tipo de scam ni con multiniveles, donde queremos trabajar transparentes con las personas y donde podamos desarrollar esas herramientas que ellos puedan usar aquí en nuestro país y puedan usar nuestro token para poder salir adelante y poder crear una nueva oportunidad para sus generaciones. ¿Cómo podemos nosotros transferir el token que nosotros creamos a la blockchain que ustedes tienen y cómo podemos trabajar juntos?
We already have various different tokenization solutions. The difference is we're not going to be doing ICOs. We will have security tokens, things with AML, things with legal rules. If you're wanting to do that, then we want you on board. That's simple.
Vamos por allí por este lado. La señora. Vamos a darle, bueno, la señora. ¿Buena pregunta?
No, ese estuvo bueno.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ricardo, yo vengo de México. Yo le quería hacer una pregunta. ¿Por qué en las transacciones nomás te permite 18 transacciones por segundo? Si hablamos de tecnología, cuando Visa te permite 56,000 transacciones por segundo, ¿tú crees que en un futuro puede ser más grande las transacciones o más rápidas?
Eso ya lo dijeron, pero sí. Yeah, we already answered that. That's BTC or say Bitcoin. Bitcoin, well, very shortly when we scale up to terabyte blocks, will be millions of transactions per second. In the next couple of years, we will be able to have global commerce. Not Visa, not PayPal. We'll be able to take Visa and PayPal and every bank on earth and every cash transaction and every share trade and every securities trade and every Internet of Things device and do it for a fraction of a cent, securely. So Bitcoin, right now, scales way bigger than that. Corcoin doesn't.
The person who asked the question is thinking about BTC.
Government handouts, but by giving them opportunities. Think how we can actually make everyone's lives a little bit better, not by handing something to them, but by giving them dignity. The reason things like the dole, welfare don't work is they have no dignity. If you're not working for money, if someone's handing you charity, even if the government's handing you charity, you have no dignity. Think how we can give people back their dignity. Think how we get a society where people want to be part of it, where they want to work harder, where they want to work to clean the streets, where they want to make everything better. That's my vision. That's what I hope to build. That's what I see as freedom. Thank you.
So Craig, let's go back to the beginning. Why did you create Bitcoin?
Again, I created Bitcoin to be a low-cost, instant cash system. One with an immutable evidence trail. And that's important. E-gold and all the rest failed because they allowed crime. They were too expensive otherwise. I want something where people can send remittance, not once a month, as they need to. Imagine if you're a worker here and you're going up to, say, New York or something like that, and you want to send money back. Rather than sending back because it's got meetings once a month. I want people to be able to send back as they need to. If your kids text you, you can just send them, I don't know, 300 Colombian pesos instantly, as they need it.
We heard the word immutable a lot today. That's a very big technical word for it just means unchangeable. Once something's on the Bitcoin blockchain, you cannot change it. Why is that important to the Bitcoin vision?
Immutable means that no one can alter the records. This is a big thing. Anytime you have a corrupt system, people want to alter the records. There are two parts to this. One, a system that cannot be changed. Two, one system. If you look through all of the big scams, frauds, and thefts in history, all of the companies like Enron that have stolen money, all of the things where Ponzi's have happened, like Bernie Madoff, what you find is even if they have an immutable system where it can't be changed, they have many immutable systems so that they can give the set of books that suits their scam at the time. We want one set of books so no one can ever be dishonest again.
So one big difference between your Bitcoin design and a lot of these other supposedly blockchain projects we see is that the Bitcoin blockchain is open, it's public. You don't need anyone's permission to operate on it. Anyone can build their own application, and anyone can see the transactions on the chain. Whereas other companies are launching other blockchain projects where you need someone's permission. Facebook's new Libra coin that was just announced recently, to run a node on it, certain companies got approval and paid $10 million US dollars to Facebook to participate. So why in your mind is it important for a blockchain to be public to achieve your vision versus to be private or permissioned, such as some of these other projects?
It's basically the sunlight principle once again. We don't want fraud. We don't want scams. When you have a system that is permissioned, it means people can roll back and change the database. They can go back and say, oh, I didn't like that version of history, that sale shouldn't have gone through, and change it. And that alters everything. It allows people to make all sorts of frauds. It allows people to get away with all sorts of deals. And it allows people basically to remove evidence. And if you can remove evidence, fraud basically thrives.
So that's why I know you talk about a lot about how Bitcoin blockchain and transactions and data, not just the money sent to Bitcoin, but information and data, once it's on the blockchain, can be more trusted, right? You can trust that it's true.
Correct. You know that that data existed at that point in time. That doesn't mean that it existed before that. You know, at that point in time it exists. So that allows you to audit things. Where people go wrong is they think, this means we'll lose all our privacy. Identity is separate from Bitcoin. We have separated and firewalled identity. There's a section of the white paper explaining this completely differently. It doesn't stop you encrypting your data. It doesn't stop you putting markers that allow you to have only small groups tracing you, only the people you want. It allows you to control your own life and your own destiny.
And you use the phrase sunlight or light a lot about Bitcoin, which doesn't sound like a technical term for people who think Bitcoin is like a technology. Why is Bitcoin sunlight or light?
Chief Justice Brand said the quote I earlier made, which is sunlight is the best disinfectant. Sunlight is the same as gas lights in old streets. It stops crime. When you're in darkness, when people can't see what's happening, when they think they will get away with it, that's when crime happens. Crime comes and it destroys society. My theory on the economic cycle is different than most people. I don't believe it's because of banks or bubbles that way. I believe it's about fraud. When a new technology happens, there's a big rash of frauds. We saw this in the 1920s. We saw this in the 1930s. We actually saw it back in the 18th century with railway bonds. We saw it again in the 90s with internet scams. And we're seeing it again with ICOs and other scams. We want to stop that. We want to make a world where everyone knows and is held accountable for their actions.
So that's the opposite of what some other cryptocurrency projects are doing by trying to create more privacy coins, which give you more privacy than Bitcoin does, such as Monero, for example. Some people like that idea. You don't, and you think that is the world of what we call crypto-anarchists, people who like cryptocurrency because it allows users to avoid the government or banks. So explain to us why you don't like the people trying to create more privacy or anonymity in cryptocurrency.
We, the people, want safety. Only when we're together are we powerful. When you have anonymous systems, it allows corrupt officials to be more corrupt and more powerful. In the darkness, dictators grow. Totalitarianism grows in darkness and corruption. It grows in those corners where the light does not get into. When you have anonymous coins, the Pablo Escobars who can move money and pay government officials millions of dollars grow in power. In darkness, the people who kidnap others to torture them, as we saw in Chile, grow in power. When we have light, when people know what's happening, we, the people, are powerful. In darkness, corrupt officials thrive.
So we've learned today that Bitcoin is more than just money. Its blockchain, its network can be used for data, a metanet, to build many applications. And that opens up a very powerful future for Bitcoin. It's the next major technology leap of our lifetimes is the internet that will impact the world. What are things you foresee that will be very valuable for building on the Bitcoin blockchain on BSV that would be valuable for Colombia and South America?
The things I was talking about earlier, where you have apps that allow smallholders, small business, people with not a lot of money to start trading, that's valuable. If you can make a system doing that, and you can be paid in micropayments, you're going to make money too, at the same time as helping these people. If you think about why we have Tesco's and Waitrose and Amazon and whatever else, these centralized systems grow because it's easy to search right now. If we make apps that allow peers to act together more profitably, we make a world that is freer, not controlled by mega corporations, not controlled by selling our data like Facebook, but where we can trade together, where every one of us can find a way of actually incentivizing each other to help make everyone's lives better and add value. Whether that's an app that allows a fisherman to sell directly to restaurants, knowing that they won't waste their catch anymore because they know exactly what they're going to sell. And if they reduce waste, that helps everyone. It helps the environment. One of the problems in Colombia right now is the ecology, rainforests, erosion, etc. Imagine if you could tokenize all of that and have people invest in maintaining a small plot of land. You could have people around the world pay to keep the rainforest, not have bullshit ads in America saying save the rainforest and wasting millions of dollars so that a few Americans feel better about themselves. Imagine them actually investing in paying people down here, maybe small cocoa farmers, to protect the small plot of land and make sure that it doesn't suffer erosion. That's now possible.
We've seen around the world a number of governments struggle with their government currency. Right? Venezuela, right? Zimbabwe. Remember, I think you said you have $1 trillion Zimbabwe.
No, I've got $100 trillion.
$100 trillion. How much is that really worth?
Less than the paper it's printed on.
Yeah, right. How do you think Bitcoin can help strengthen monetary systems in countries like Colombia and also around South America?
Firstly, you can tokenize currencies. Once you do that, you can start actually getting information about how they're used, where the money's going, whether you're actually being effective in adding more interest rates, pumping out more money, etc. Rather than the blunt instrument that central banks have now, we can use big data to really start targeting basically microloans to small businesses. Actually incentivizing people to start businesses that matter, building capital. Because it's not about money. That's where people go wrong. It's about wealth. And when you understand that money and wealth are two different things, then you'll start to understand the economy.
And so what Craig is talking about is something you can do on the blockchain, which is create a token that is just a digital representation of something else. So governments have been thinking about, should I create what's called a stable coin, a token of their native currency on, let's say, Bitcoin blockchain, which we encourage, is the best place to do it. So think about it this way. The Colombian government, through its central bank, the government bank, could consider creating a Colombian peso stablecoin built on the Bitcoin blockchain. And with that coin, which you can then use and spend here in Colombia, you get added power, because with regular money, the central bank can't really keep track of how it's being used, whether loans are being adequately funded, or what the interest rates are, or how effective the monetary policy is based on real money. It's hard, it's possible, it's much harder. But with a stable coin, you can embed into the coin, because it's digital, it lives on the BSV blockchain, certain ability to collect data and provide data to the central bank. And if used correctly, that allows the government central bank to get better data to improve monetary policy. It opens the door for all kinds of things, right, Craig?
One day, I see this going even further. We're working on things like voting systems and the ability to actually allocate funds. One day, I would like to see people choose what happens with the government money that they decide. If they say this is going to roads, I would like to see people vote where their money goes.
You do that on the blockchain.
Exactly. If you want better police forces, vote for it with your money. If you want better roads, make sure the money that goes for your roads is only ever used for roads.
And because the blockchain is public, auditable, where you can track transactions and what money is used for, it can allow governments, charities, to have better accountability. So you know, if you donate money to a charity, or you want your money used by the government a certain way, it allows you to better know that it's actually being used for that purpose.
Exactly. Right now, the average charity spends 90% of the donated money in running the charity. I don't like that. I don't know about you. I don't think that's why people give money to charities. I think they give money to charities to do a task. Not so that a head office in Switzerland or something like that can hire people at $1 million plus to run a global charity, but so when something happens, we can send money where it's needed, to the people that need it. Not so that we can have them fly in jets from Switzerland to here, not so that a few rich bankers get richer, so that we actually have money go where we want it to go, used for what we want it to be used for.
So, I'll wrap up my questions since we go to the audience. You know, in this room, there's a lot of people who are thinking about Bitcoin, learning about Bitcoin as youth for them, as well as their children, next generations, who are thinking about getting involved in this ecosystem, not just to invest and buy Bitcoin, but to really be part of this, participate, build products and businesses on it. What are ways you can recommend to people in this room and throughout Colombia and South America about what things they can do to participate as their children in this?
Again, start finding ways of doing tasks. Start finding ways of using Bitcoin. If you want Bitcoin to be valuable, it's not because it's going to be exchanged in tether pumps. Next year it halves, the tether investigation will crash many things. I mean, it's a fraud. The people running it are criminals. At the end of the day, that's going to end badly. If you want to see Bitcoin that becomes more and more valuable, there's one and only one long-term way of doing this. Use it. Get other people using it. Build applications that use it. It doesn't matter what you're using it for. Just make sure that you add value.
So at the end of your journey with Bitcoin, which won't end anytime soon, and probably never, if you could come back here to Colombia in 10 or 20 years, what would you like to see for their journey and future with Bitcoin?
I want to see people delivering produce from all over this country, making this country greater, not because of middlemen and big companies, but because of many peer applications that we now have the technology for. I want to be able to go to a restaurant knowing that the fisherman sourced it and found a way to get the fish to my table that day, fresh, the best way for the best money for that guy out there without intermediaries taking a cut. I want to see a world where anyone can start raising money, where we can incentivize people not to be on goal or charity, so we can help one another, we can have real stories, we can see people who are in real need, and we can help them. And all of us become basically something better.
And now I hope you understand why the Satoshi vision from Craig Wright for Bitcoin is more than just about creating a new technology, more than about creating a new form of money. It's about changing the world with the power combined of a new economic system with technology and opening up people's minds. And that's why this man, is fighting so hard to ensure that his vision of Bitcoin emerges as successful. And it requires, as we learned today, massive scaling, big blocks, high transaction volume, very tiny fees, fast speed, because that brings power to everything that can be done for the Bitcoin blockchain that is public, auditable, verifiable, and has the capacity to change the world.
On a final note, part of why I built Bitcoin was because of the Googles and the Amazons and everything in the world. I don't want to see a world of AI. AI doesn't really exist. That's a lie. AI is just a whole lot of algorithms programmed by a whole lot of geeks. It enables big companies to basically scam you into thinking your machine's smart. It's not. I want to see a world where there is real intelligence. That's people. No computer has ever valued anything. I don't believe a computer will ever value anything. Only people value. When we work with technology, we're better. Yes, Kasparov was beaten in a chess game by a computer. But here's the thing. A computer and a human together beat anything. They're tools. We are tool-using apes. We take tools and we build better things. In the past, it's buildings, it's cars. Now we have a new hammer. It's technology like computers. We can allow people to tell us that we're dumb and that computers are smarter and that we can sit there and let them control our lives, or we can take our own lives in our own hands and realize that if we work with technology as the people, we win.
I'd like to win. Thousands of transactions a second, and we'll be getting to millions of transactions a second in the future.
Bueno, si tienen una última, last question. Buena pregunta. Si no vino a la conferencia, no pregunte. Por favor. Señor, una buena pregunta.
Buenas tardes. Soy Jesús Martín, de Madrid, España, pero felizmente afincado aquí en Colombia hace muchos años. Felicidades, es un honor que estés aquí. Muchos te conocían como Casper, porque eres el fantasma que nunca hemos conocido, pero bueno, en algún motivo ya has salido a la luz pública, te identificas. No vemos seguridad aquí, porque con una persona de la repercusión como usted, pues la seguridad es importante. Pero bueno, nos da mucho gusto que estés aquí y como colombiano me siento orgulloso de ello. Para dejar una cosa un poco clara, entre Bitcoin Cash y ahora Bitcoin SV. Las personas que tienen Bitcoin tradicional, ¿qué va a pasar con ellos cuando en el tiempo naturalmente llegaremos a los 21 millones? ¿Qué diferencia hay entre Bitcoin SV, donde se va a empezar a adquirir esa nueva criptomoneda? Porque hay personas que no van a entender la diferencia entre el Bitcoin tradicional y el Bitcoin SV. Si hay que empezar a adquirir esa criptomoneda nueva, que ahora está a centavos, y mañana va a empezar a tener su repercusión con las ventajas que bien el señor Nolan nos ha comentado. ¿Cuál es la transacción entre el Bitcoin tradicional y Bitcoin SV? ¿Realmente cuál es la proyección? ¿Cuántas monedas va a haber? Si es Proof of Work o es Proof of Stake. Nos gustaría que quedara un poquito más claro eso. Creo que muchas personas no han quedado claro con ese concepto. Gracias.
BTC is not Bitcoin. BTC is a scam. Bitcoin is set in stone. There is no, they're the original Bitcoin. Set in stone, protocol doesn't change, that's simple. You decentralize, you take away power by not allowing change. If a developer can change, the developer has power. It's not Bitcoin. BTC is working with exchanges. I'll call them bucket shops. These are basically unlicensed, unregulated, criminal money laundering organizations that are designed to flip money and allow a whole lot of illegal things at the moment. That's going to end. There's a simple thing. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, but miners will be fine because we have transaction fees. There'll be more and more transaction fees. Bitcoin SV will outlive me. The simple fact of the matter here is Bitcoin doesn't change. It grows, it gets bigger, it scales, it works, it allows people to transact peer-to-peer. That's what it does. It doesn't require things that say you need $4 fees. There's none of this. I'm sorry, it's not for people who earn less than $5 a day. Bitcoin's for everyone.
Let me answer that answer really quickly, because I want us to be very clear about what Bitcoin SV is. Bitcoin SV is the original Bitcoin design, protocol, rules, everything you think about Bitcoin. It should have a 21 million cap on the total number of coins ever that will exist. That's in Bitcoin SV. That may or may not happen with BTC, Bitcoin Core, which changed, and they're having problems with their fees getting high and never getting congested. In fact, one of the Bitcoin Core very prominent supporters they've been recently talking about possibly increasing the number on Bitcoin Core to over 21 million. That's wrong. That changes a huge rule of Bitcoin. The reason it has value is because the supply is fixed. It would be like the government just printing more money, and it makes the money you have less valuable. And for people who are investing in BTC today, they should be shocked that the development group behind Bitcoin Core or people who are advocates of Bitcoin Core are even thinking about that. And so our commitment is what Satoshi wrote way back in 2010. Set this protocol, have it set in stone. 21 million. The rules are what they are. The blocks are mined on average when they are 10 minutes. We're not going to change that. All of those rules are in BSV. Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash implemented protocol changes that changed it. And that's why we stand here today saying they are not Bitcoin anymore. I know they use the name. I know that may sound confusing. In the future, if their chain does not continue to grow in value and miners leave it, it will reduce in value. I'm not going to tell people who already have BTC or BCH what to do with their coins because we don't give people investment advice. But I ask you to think, which has the brightest future? That's BSV, original.
One more question over here.
Primero quería comentarte que acá en Colombia estamos implementando acercarnos hacia los gobiernos a que sea visto no como algo malo, sino como algo bueno, y como tú te das cuenta, está cambiando muchas vidas el Bitcoin. Pero ¿cómo decirle a esas personas que Satoshi Nakamoto, que debe tener mucho Bitcoin en su wallet, no pueda mudar todo ese capital a Bitcoin SV? Donde eso pasara, pues cuántas personas no se verían afectadas. Entonces, ya que están creando algo diferente y reformando, digamos, los errores cometidos, ¿eso podría pasar? ¿O simplemente Satoshi Nakamoto se olvidaría de los Bitcoin que tiene en su wallet?
I have BTC and I have Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin doesn't change. BSV is always has been. What people don't understand is I don't care that much about money. I have more than I need. My wife and I have been already talking, and I basically believe in a Wesleyan type philosophy. It's the same as a magnate in the past called Andrew Carnegie. He was a steel baron. His vision was earn as much as you can, give as much as you can. That's what I believe. My goal in life is to create as much value and as much wealth as I can possibly do. Before I die, I want to set up an educational fund. I want to use the money I create basically to take everything I build and educate the poorest billion people on earth. So I don't really want to hurt people. BTC I think will tank eventually because of the halving and other problems. It's not going to be me doing it. But over time, I'm going to build BSV so that it's as valuable as I can possibly make it. So that when I finally retire and start giving away money, I'll have more than any government can imagine. Thank you very much, Dr. Wright, for being here with us, for coming to Colombia. I acknowledge and I really appreciate that. And Jimmy, thanks for all your help and efforts coming here. And all of the team, Raylene, Becky, CoinGeek for
thank you, team.
Oslo, and Chain and the Bitcoin Association. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I want to give a small detail for you. So this is just a sample of our we care you came here. This is a t-shirt with me and our cap. And I want you to use it in your vacation. Thank you. So thank you very much, Dr. Wright. Thank you, Jimmy, and see you later. Thank you.
Thank you all.